I've been living in Germany for 8 years now, and during all these years, I've had multiple culture shocks. But in this video, I'm going to share my top 10 German culture shocks. Hey, I'm Jen from simplegermany.com, where we help expats settle in Germany. Without further ado, let's go right into it. So number 1, bear with me, I'm going to look at my phone here. So, oh yeah, Germans love to plan events in advance. Like for real, like it's a real thing that Germans plan things way ahead of time. For example, last year we got an invitation for a 40th birthday party, which was this year. So a year and a half in advance we got that invitation. And a German conversation or a conversation between friends usually go like this. Hey, what are you doing next Saturday? Oh, let me look at my calendar. Oh, next Saturday is full. How about in 2 months from now? Oh yeah, that could work. 2 months from now works very well. Okay, so should we say then in 2 months and 2 years and 2 years and 2 months to meet at 2 p.m.? Let's do that. And the funny thing is that actually 2 years from now, Germans will meet at 2 p.m. So that's number 1. Number 2, drinking in public is acceptable and it's pretty awesome. There's even a term called Feierabendbier, which means the beer after work. And it's very common, especially in summer months, for people to go to, it's called a kiosk where you can buy a cold beer, meet at a park and just drink. And with drinking in public comes a very interesting thing called the beer collectors. All beer bottles, they have a recycling system that's called Pfand. And whenever you return a beer bottle to wherever you bought it, you actually get money back. And these beer collectors, they're at the park and they're asking you actually all the time, are you done with your beer? Are you done with your beer? Because then when you give them the beer, they collect all these beer bottles and then they return them and then they get money back. So, you know, you help the environment, you help the people, the beer collectors, and you enjoy beer in public, which is pretty cool. Number 3 is that cash is king. And I have multiple theories for this, but I think it has to do a lot with that Germans really appreciate their privacy, so they don't like using their debit card or credit card to pay for things because obviously then there is record of what they spent their money on. However, it's very common that you go to a restaurant and you want to pay with a card and they're like, nope, only cash is accepted. And super funny if you go to the supermarket and then let's say the person in front of you, their bill is 23 with 53 cents. What they will often do is take out a 20 euro bill and they'll start counting their coins because they're pretty sure that they have the 3 euro and the 23 cents in coins. So they start counting, right? And then they realize, oh, actually I only have 2 euros and 50. So let me take all my coins back and now let me give you a 50 euro bill because I don't have any other like smaller change. So that's very common as well. Number 4 is nudity. Wow, this was a really big one for me. I come from Latin America where it's very, how do you say this? We're very shy with our body. We're not very open to show, we're not very open being naked, I would say. So the biggest story that I have for this is that I was having dinner with my in-laws at their house and they have a sauna at home. And after dinner, my in-laws asked my wife, hey, do you want to go to the sauna later? Okay, my wife wasn't my wife back then. We were just starting to date. So it was pretty much like the 3rd dinner that we had together. And my wife looked at me and was like, they want to go to the sauna. And I'm like, does that mean we have to go all naked? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, So we actually had to step away from the room and then we talked about it. And I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm ready. Like in Latin America, you would never, ever, ever see your in-laws naked. I'm pretty sure in a lot of other countries, you don't do that, right? So we had to go back to the dinner table. And then my wife or girlfriend at the time had to explain, maybe we go first and then you go afterwards. And they were like, but why? I don't understand. Yeah, because in Jen's culture, it's not so common to see people naked. So it was like a 20-minute discussion of like, but what's the big deal? We're all just like people showing our body. And I was just uncomfortably there sitting. Anyways, after that dinner, Ivan took me to multiple sauna places where we practiced being naked in public. I wear glasses, as you can see, so taking them off, at least I don't see as many things. And as it turns out, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And after that, I must say I happily go to the sauna with my in-laws. But it's not only that. When you go to lakes, there's also places that is just for naked people. These areas are usually marked with a sign called FKK, which means
Freikörperkultur.
Yeah, translated is free body culture. So if you go to a lake and it says FKK, you're most likely going to see like naked people. I don't know if I should even say this in camera, but once we went there and there were people playing like ping pong and that was just like, it was just weird. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, and another big one is when you go to the gym, this is a really funny one as well. When you go to the gym, you work out, right? And afterwards you want to take a shower. So you go to the shower and then there's like no shower curtains. It's just a big open space with multiple showers that you shower openly with other people. And then when you go to the locker area and you change, then you do that also openly with other people. So that definitely has taken me some time to get used to. By now, it's not a big deal. People don't stare at you or anything. It's just, one thing that you should be aware of. Number 5, oh wow, and that's insurance, insurance, and insurance. Let me ask my German wife behind the camera, how many insurances do we have?
7 or 8.
We have 8 insurance, and if you ask any other German, the average is 5. That's right, Germans love insurance, and it's insurance for everything, right? Like also from your, there's a very, very big one called personal liability insurance, which it took me 3 years to actually understand what was the point of it. And there's insurance for everything. There's insurance even if you get scammed or get phishing emails, you can have an internet insurance that covers whatever damage these scams do to your personal finances. It's crazy. Oh, number 6 is how direct people are. Oof, that's a big one. Germans don't sugarcoat anything. If it's a no, it's a no. And it's not like a no sugar, it's not like a, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. No, it's a really dry 9. And that's it. And you have to deal with it. They're very, very direct and they're very honest with their opinion. Number 7, this is a very preference kind of thing, is that back home in Guatemala, where I'm from, we rarely we drink sparkling water. And usually sparkling water has to do with medicine because there are certain tablets and things that you put in the water and it makes it fizzly and then it dissolves and you drink that and it's medicine pretty much, right? But in Germany, sparkling water is everywhere. Dude, and me drinking that reminds me of medicine back home. So I really don't like it. But anyways, here, whenever a friend offers you water, it's sparkling water. If you go to a restaurant and you ask for water, it's sparkling water. So if you don't like sparkling water, you really, really have to make an effort to make sure that you ask for stilles Wasser, which is still water, like without any fizzle in it. What else? Oh yeah, this is a very, very fun one. Number 8 is the little fines that you can get in Germany. So there are a lot of rules. But it's not about the rules or the number of rules that are in Germany, is the fact that people actually follow them. And there's actually people making sure that you follow them. So one of these rules, for example, is that you're not supposed to jaywalk. So meaning if there is if you're gonna cross the street, it's a pedestrian zebra, and there's a red light for the pedestrian, you're not supposed to cross. If you do, and the police sees you, you might get a fine of up to 15 euros. And if you do and the police doesn't see you, but older people are there, they might yell at you. And if also there's family, with little kids, and you do that, they will yell at you as well. The theory behind it could be that if you, adults are supposed to set the example for young kids. So if you cross the street when there's a red pedestrian light, it's a bad indication, right? Which makes sense. However, it doesn't make sense when it's Sunday morning, there's absolutely no one out there, and you're still standing there in a street where there's no cars and you can't cross. And trust me, if you do, and the police might be there watching you, you will get fined. Another little fine that you get is if you, for example, are driving your bicycle without lights, Ivan, which is...
At night, of course.
At night, obviously at night. Well, during the day, that would be weird, right? Ivan got fined because of that once. I also had a coworker she got fined because she was actually driving her bike on the sidewalk, going against the traffic. So the traffic was going, let's say, this way, and she was driving that way. Police saw her, stopped her, and told her, dude, this is not okay. It's super dangerous. Here's your 15 euro fine. And you got to pay it for sure. What else? Oh, number 9, this is a little one, but still it's very, I find it very endearing and cute. But anyways, when Germans answer the phone and they don't know who's calling, most often than not, they answer with their last name. So when I answer the phone, I answer with hello. And the other person on the other side, if it's a German person, they're super confused at the beginning. And usually the conversation starts with, sorry, am I speaking with Jennifer Palacios? And then I'll be like, yes? Ah, okay, good to know. As when Ivan answered the phone, the first thing she says is Kopen, hello. And I find that it's so interesting. I don't know, it's again, a cultural thing, of course. Number 10 is that taxis are really nice. I would say maybe 90% of taxis are Mercedes-Benz. So you walk into, you get into a taxi and you feel the leather seats and they're super fancy and they're super nice. Which, I don't know, I've been in taxis also in New York and that's not the case. Taxis back home are not the case. So that's a very interesting one. And I have a +1. I know I said 10, but the number 11, and I don't know if it's a culture shock, more of a complaint, but Germans, they love to cut lines. There's no such thing as waiting in line for Germans. There might seem like a line is being built, but there's always that German, that starts being confused and starts walking to the front of the line, and suddenly they're in position number 2. And if you tell them, hey, there's a line, they look super confused and they cannot oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize this. And then they go to the back of the line. But that's just maybe a pet peeve of mine. Anyways, please don't get me wrong. These are culture shocks. This has been my experience living in Germany. Obviously, depending on where you come from, it's a different experience for you. It's just a fun video to make. I love German culture. There's so many great things here, but there are just some things that you have to ask. Really, Germany? Why? Anyways, I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe. Yeah, what else? Did we forget anything?
Peace out.
Peace out.